Welcome, my name is Becky, and you are watching this special mini-series called Employment Pathway in Australia. The purpose of these videos is to help understand new job seekers three main things: the Australian job market, how to be job ready in South Australia, and third, the workplace landscape after COVID. To help me on this topic, I have a very special guest speaker. His name is Luis Arriola. Luis is originally from Mexico and has been living here in Australia for the last 10 years. Luis has a very versatile career with two bachelor degrees, one as a veterinarian and another one in civil engineering. In Australia, he has completed two diplomas, one in community services and another one in business administration. Due to his remarkable work and contribution to the community, he was granted the Governor's Multicultural Award in 2019. Currently, he works in AMIS Australia, an organization that helps newly arrived migrants and refugees to settle in Australia. And as an employment pathway coordinator, he helps them to find employment. In this first video, Luis talks about the Australian job market and how it is distributed by occupation. Let's get started. Hello, Luis, and welcome. It's a pleasure to learn from you today and your experience. How are you?
Thank you very much. I am very well. It's been a busy day today, but ready for this workshop.
Yes, I'm super excited because I know that the information that you're going to share with us today is going to be extremely helpful, particularly for all the new job seekers to find a job that really creates that sense of belonging in Australia, their new country. So let's start with the first part, the industry. How is the workforce spread among the Australian job market?
We can group the workforce in 3 or 4 main groups. Mm-hmm. One of them is the professionals, which mm-hmm. are people who have bachelor degree in certain field. The other group that we can point out is that of the technicians and the trade workers. The other group is the community and personal and care and health services workers. Mm-hmm. The other professions like sales workers, laborers, and machinery operators and drivers mm-hmm. account for very small numbers that mm-hmm. we can group in the rest 30% of the workforce.
Second question, how the market is performing in South Australia in regards of obviously employment, underemployment, and unemployment?
There are different reasons why the workforce has a different rate of unemployment. And those are basically the skill level, their okay. age, mm-hmm. their English proficiency, the length of their work experience or having a recent mm-hmm. work experience in that field, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. and the period from their arrival to Australia. Mm-hmm. You can say that people who just arrived to Australia hasn't been in the market for long, so they are more prone to have higher unemployment rates, meaning they mm-hmm. need to do a bigger effort to get a job. In contrast of those who has been here for longer, they know mm-hmm. the market, they know how they are known in the market, and their mm-hmm. unemployment rate is always lower. Similarly, mm-hmm. the youth is new mm-hmm. to the market. So you will expect that young okay. people will have a higher unemployment rate. Mm-hmm. And in regards to the average, usually mm-hmm. youth has tripled this unemployment rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes sense, as you said, because they need to learn about the market. They are also probably figuring out what's the job that they want to do. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and mm-hmm. they need to be known in the market, because our market in South Australia is reliant in the word of mouth.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you are know for longer time in the market, you are more, you have a higher possibility to be called.
Yeah, your network is bigger. More people will know
Yes.
perhaps that you are trying to find a job. Interesting.
Exactly.
So this, all this information is in general, right, about the Australian job market. It's not specifically to a just new migrants. It's the whole market. All this information so far.
Uh, yes, we are focusing this conversation basically in people who are new to the market, and they are new to the market for two main reasons.
Mm-hmm.
They are new arrivals to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know the market,
Mm-hmm.
or they are young people who are just entering the workforce.
How is the workforce spread among the industries?
We can say that there are four main industries that receive that workforce.
Mm-hmm.
The first one that I will point out, the bigger market for the workforce in South Australia, is the health care and assistant services market. Professionals, which are these people who have their own business, and they account for the 12% of the market. The other important market is education and training, who account for 13% of the market. And another very important industry that we will talk later on is the construction industry. They account for the 13% of the market.
They are pretty even like distributed, are
Those three industries have
those three.
a very similar share.
That's
But
very interesting.
something that is important to say is that the share of the market of construction, education, and professionals, or when I say professionals, I mean small and family businesses. They account, those three markets account for 36%. And just the healthcare and support industries account for 34%. Just to compare and gauge
How
the
big?
size of that
Yeah.
market. Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's a big chunk.
Yes, and those four industries account for the 70% of the market.
And what about the rest of the industry?
The rest of the industries just account for the 34%.
So everything else is the rest
Yes.
of the percent.
Yes, everything else 34%. 34%.
According to your experience, which one are the industries that are playing a more representative role now in 2020, Luis?
Well, look, the Department of Employment, Small and Family Businesses have projected that by May 2024, there will be an increase of 1,075,000 employment positions available, created in South Australia. For that million, in round numbers, 250,000 positions will be produced by the healthcare and social assistance industry. And this will be this industry will produce the largest contribution to the employment growth. The next industry that I said before that is important to look at is the construction industry. Construction industry will account or contribute for 118,000 positions for this market. What is important to point out about the construction industry is that construction industry is the linchpin of the Australian economy. It accounts for around 10% of the gross product.
Profit margin.
Yes, the 10% of GDP.
Okay.
And this industry employs 1.2 million people, which is 9.1% of the entire Australian workforce. this industry provides more full-time jobs than any other sector of the economy. And
Construction.
Construction, yes.
Wow.
And this is made up of around 389,000 small and family businesses. So
It's
as you
huge,
see,
the contribution.
yes, and it's broken in a lot of small businesses, but those small businesses accommodate themselves and play harmoniously with each other to build our infrastructure, and that keeps them running all the time, because it's the construction industry just hits the market of the plumbers, of the painters, of the electricians, the cladding, the people who do the cladding, the carpenters. That all those trades participate in the industry, and they have, as I am telling you, they have another repercussion. For instance, the cabinet makers, they contribute to the wood industry. The plumbers and the electricians, the materials they work with contributes to the metal industry, the metal extraction industry. If you look at the very end of at the very beginning of the industrialization process.
That's very fascinating. Sorry. So, for example, how easy or how difficult is to access for small businesses to this industry, like to establish their business, and then how easy or how difficult is for them to find customers or work?
Well, as I told you, the construction industry has a process, and during the construction process, different trades participate along the process. So at the very beginning, you will have a lot of concreters, a lot of labor involved, and then after the initial parts, then you start talking about the finishing or the fittings. You have more specialized people that do the electricians and the plumbers. And the next stage will involve more painters and decorators. And in the very end, you will have people who will be setting up the carpets, and then
the lawns.
Yes, all the landscaping at the outside.
So, for what I'm understanding, the two main industries that are thriving and will continue to thrive, according to the government, health and construction.
Yes, exactly. It's not just health; it's a little bit broader. It's health, is care, and social assistance. Meaning health will involve nurses, doctors, that kind of professions. The care will involve the support workers, social workers, community workers, and social assistance will be a mixture within both, because they play together to deliver services in this field.
That's excellent, and they are great news for people that are thinking, right, to work on those industries. Those are really good news for them. And sorry.
Yeah, well, another thing that is important to tell is that even though they already have a wide participation in the market, the professionals and the machinery operators who impact the industry of construction, they are growing at a rate of between the 9 and the 13%, meaning every year you have 10, and the next year you will have an increasement of 1.3 positions in that market, and the next let's say 2 years later you will have like 14 positions increment in that market. And I told you this impact in the construction industry is around 9 and 13%. But what is amazing is that the growth of community services is 16%.
Whoa.
It's even more than those we mentioned before.
In community service, which one are the jobs?
You will talk about the health care and support services industry and social assistance.
Okay. So the biggest growth is in the health care and assistance.
Yes, it's an expanding sector. You will see is like if you are comparing two balloons, you will have this balloon that is growing faster, and even industry is growing on a very high rate. This one is taking even more part of the workforce.
That's excellent. And also the next question to complete this first part, which is the industry. Where are these industries growing in? We're talking about like location. Are they growing in the city? Are they growing in the regional areas? If you can share a little bit more about it.
Yes, well, as you just mentioned, yes, the government is investing a lot of money developing these services, mainly in the regional areas, because they are trying to attract the population to the regional areas, and in those areas is where you have a lot of construction happening and a lot of services being delivered closer to the people who need the service.
Can you give some examples of regional areas, Luis?
Yes, I can mention in our state in South Australia, the York and the Mid-North Regional Development Area, the York Peninsula, all that part that goes from the Great Adelaide metropolitan area to Port Augusta, and then going down through the York Peninsula. That area is having a big investment from the government. Another area that is very important in South Australia is the Moray Lands and the Riverland. Berry, Burra, and all that areas are going to develop and are being developed at the moment.
We will need a map to find all the places, because I know some of them, but not all, and I've been living here for 10 years.
Yes.
Yes. No, but that's amazing.
Basically, close to Adelaide, but because our state is very big, these regional areas are closer to the Adelaide metropolitan area, and it's basically the York Peninsula. And everything in between the Flinders Ranges to the center, and everything between, let's say, Mount Baker and the border with Victoria and New South Wales. That chunk, that rectangle that you can draw from that area downwards, those are the areas that are going to develop.
So, for example, because most people, when you come to a new country, you want to be around or close the city. In this case, Adelaide.
Yes.
Are you seeing people moving to these areas, or?
Yes, there are a lot of opportunities being there. There is a lot of opportunities being created in that area, and there is a big number of people that have been drawn to that area to settle.
Interesting.
It's important to say. It's important to say that to drive in that areas, you also need to be like a little more versatile. You need to do, let's say, you need to be able to do community services, and also you may do part-time community services and another part-time support services. which are
Mhm.
in the same market, in the same
Mhm.
industry, but
Mhm.
have a different service delivery model.
Why is that? Why to cover two different like areas?
Just to keep you busy at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. But
Okay. Mhm.
if you wish to work part time, going to regional
Ah,
areas, working part time will make you a good living because
yeah, 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 yeah,
the stress, the distance, and everything is longer.
yeah,
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 and
yeah.
you have a smaller market there, but you
Mhm.
have less expenditures as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, now that you mentioned that, I have a friend that lives in Manu. No,
Hmm.
yeah, the Manu
Manu?
River. Yeah, yeah. And she moved there probably 2 years after she came to Australia, and she loves it. Like she has like the river in front of her house. It's a amazing view. So these places are beautiful. They are really
Yes,
like, yeah. And as you said, like less stress than the main cities. The traffic, yeah.
yes.
Some of the benefits, I guess, to live in a
Yes, well, it's
regional
a
area. Hmm.
yeah, you have a slower pace than in the city,
Yes, yeah.
which has other benefits.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Interesting. Thank you, Luis, for sharing. Yeah, all those numbers and the vision, right, of what's happening and will continue happening in the future for the industries here in the Australian job market.